Well, we finally reached the final act of this trilogy, a trilogy that promised to show us the war for Cybertron, and then showed us the back end of the war in the first part, the aftermath of the war in the second part, and now we've reached the part that has absolutely nothing to do with warring over Cybertron in any way whatsoever. So with 2 seasons under their belt, will this be the part that increases in quality and storytelling? It opens on the Nemesis crashing into Earth, and we see Galvatron brought before Unicron, with Galvatron insisting that he will find a way to break free from Unicron's power. You know, I just realised this entire premise is really stupid. Unicron has complete control over Galvatron and is capable of finding him throughout the multiverse, yet he somehow fails to keep track of him multiple times, allowing Galvatron to just sneak away and join the main plot throughout this season.
Doesn't make any sense. Too bad.
The Autobots wake up, having a wide variety of injuries, and the Arc systems have been heavily damaged, with Teletran 1 still functioning but not responding to them. As Wheeljack tries to repair their systems, they notice they were spotted by a leopard. They then find a rat in the ship's wiring, with the commotion causing the rest of the Maximals to arrive to fight the Autobots. And I gotta ask, what the fuck were these guys doing? The ship crashed, everyone woke up shortly afterwards, and somehow during this time the Maximals infiltrated the Ark but decided to just chill in the shadows, watching them sleep and fucking up their ship for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Which is especially egregious because they think Optimus is Nemesis when they see him, so either they're blind, or everyone except Primal saw Optimus lying down and decided that they were just gonna let their arch nemesis live. Anyways, Prime one-shots all of them before fighting Primal, who transforms, showing that they're Cybertronians as well. The rest of the Maximals then transform, except for Rat Trap. They literally just cut to Rat Trap standing there, no sound effect or anything. They just go from showing off all these cool transformations, and then there's just... After hearing his name, Primal demands Optimus show him the matrix of leadership to prove he's a Prime, but Optimus faints from his injuries. We see Airraiser spying on the Decepticons trying to repair their ship, and after seeing Megatron give Starscream a good roasting,
"Do you really think I'd risk this mission by relying entirely on you, Starscream?"
My nigga, you just got roasted! Yeah!
Soundwave informs them that there's intruders nearby. As they investigate, 2 dinosaurs charge at them, but they realise who Megatron is, bowing before him, and Predacon Megatron shows Megatron the golden disc. Now, this is an alright scene, but this is the weird part. Megatron doesn't know who they are, or that they're even Cybertronians, yet he orders his men not to fire at the gigantic beasts that seem to be charging at them to attack them. It's almost like he's read the script. Also, this Predacon Megatron sounds so shit, and I can't believe they made him this pathetic.
Yes! Lord Megatron!
Tensions brew between Bumblebee and the Maximals until Optimus returns, offering to help them repair their ship if they reveal who they are. It is revealed that they despise Optimus because after he took the Allspark off-world, he apparently never returned to Cybertron. Wait, you despise him, but you decided to name yourself after him? Why the fuck would you do that? Primal refuses to believe Optimus's good intentions and says that they were about to destroy the Predacons until Optimus brought the Ark and the Nemesis to Earth. Their conversation is cut short when they're informed about news from the Megatrons, and the confused Autobots are told that the Maximals and Predacons are from the future. Predacon Megatron, god, I need to get a new name for him because this is going to be very tedious if I have to keep putting Predacon Megatron every time I want to talk about this dipshit. Biggles tells Megatron about how the Maximals and Predacons came to be, and that the golden disc mysteriously appeared at some point containing the memories of Megatron, which is why they came back to this point in time. After Biggles simps for him some more, Megatron agrees to hear him out in private. As Starscream and Dinobot leave, Starscream gets annoyed that no one in the future remembers who he is.
And surely you have heard legends of Air Commander Starscream.
No.
Starscream rants about Megatron and the Predacons, until he's startled by Black Arachnia. who propositions that they try and usurp the Megatrons as they will bring ruin to everything. The Maximals have a group discussion about what to do, highlighting that the Megatrons will make everything worse. As Air-Razor attempts to inform them about what is happening on the Nemesis, Laserbeak arrives and takes her out. Soundwave brings them to the Megatrons, who tell her that she will lead them to the Maximals and Autobots. On to the next episode, and in their past, Biggles, Dinobot and Black Arachnia work together to steal the Golden Disc, but the other two seemingly turn on Biggles when things go wrong, intending on returning it. Biggles tells them that with the disc they could rule the planet instead of the Maximals, with Black Arachnia handing over the disc and revealing that she gave Dinobot a unloaded gun. And it's just really funny because right before this conversation they were having a desperate chase, attempting to run away from the gunfire, and then they just stand there for over a minute as gunfire lands all around them, with the Maximals apparently unable to catch up to 3 people stood in a triangle talking.
Let him go, Lou. Someone going that fast has no time for a ticket.
In the present, the Decepticons begin gearing up for a fight, and the Autobots and Maximals argue over whether to save Air-Razor or go after the Allspark. Optimus offers to spare some troops to help with the rescue mission, while Rhinox and the rest of the Autobots will repair the Ark and hunt for the Allspark. Biggles is torturing Air-Razor in his BDSM dungeon.
Do your worst, Daddy.
Dinobot insists that she's had enough, and after threatening to kill Dinobot for insubordination, Black Arachnia takes Biggles away, with Dinobot being ordered to continue torturing Air-Razor for information. Biggles meets with Megatron on the bridge.
You're going to have to do something about that name.
I wear it with honor.
My honor. Change it.
I can't believe you've done this.
Megatron says he will be rewarded for the Golden Disc and giving him information, as he now knows the exact location of the Allspark. They are interrupted by an invisible figure leaving the room, revealed to be Starscream, who is working for Black Arachnia to get to the Allspark. Wow, how nice of Starscream to just find this cloaking technology. There's surely no point in the previous seasons that this would have been useful. On the Ark, they managed to get the ship running again, locating the data and trying to locate the space bridge that brought the Allspark to Earth, so they can use it instead of going through the dead universe.
You went through the dead universe. Why didn't you just say that? Through a broken space bridge. Survived the dead universe.
Liar!
Megatron ends up having a nightmare before rallying the troops to hunt for the Allspark. After Dinobot has stopped torturing her for a while, he explains that while he thought doing this mission would be worth it, he doesn't feel like he's doing the right thing, with Air-Razor encouraging him to follow what he feels is right even if it goes against the Predacons, with Dinobot leaving. Arriving at their ship, Primal sends Rat Trap into the ship to scout, nearly getting caught by Dinobot and Astro Train. Why he decided to transform, jump upside down on the ceiling and hope no one would see him instead of just going back into the vent he just came from is anyone's guess.
I'm starting to fear that you're not very smart.
Dinobot meets with Black Arachnia to talk about her plotting against the Megatrons, but is held at gunpoint by Starscream. Dinobot tells them that he doesn't want to stop them, but he wants to help them, as finding the Allspark and throwing away their faction labels might be the best way for everyone to survive. And you know what? I've been shitting on this trilogy for ages, but I think this is genuinely a great scene. The actors for Starscream, Dinobot and Black Arachnia are the few voice actors in this trilogy that actually seem to be trying with their voice acting and not talking like they're having asthma problems. So having them all bouncing off each other here was a really enjoyable bit of entertainment.
Finally, some good fucking content.
As Rat Trap attempt to rescue Air-Razor, he is held hostage by Scorponok and Astro Train, and the team on the hill is also discovered, as Megatron has used the Golden Disc to reveal their locations. Things go wrong, however, when Mirage uncloaks himself to level the playing field for Rat Trap, while the team on the ridge survive because...
I said fire! I keep telling you, we don't take orders from Predacons.
No, but you do take orders from Megatron, who wants everyone who stands against him dead, so what the fuck are you doing, Barricade?
Shut the fuck up, you prancing shit.
Because Barricade and Biggles are morons, the team manage to use their squabble to escape, and Mirage manages to use his abilities to disguise himself as Astro Train and briefly stop Scorponok from attacking, allowing Rat Trap to free Air-Razor, with the group putting Astro Train and Scorponok into the cell. Decent fighting choreography, still don't understand how Mirage can hit Astro Train like this, considering he was half his size, so surely Mirage would just be punching upwards if he wants to hit Astro Train in the face, so I don't know why his figure is punching straight ahead of him. But whatever, it's all illusions. He's basically the Doctor Strange of the Autobots. Despite the fact that at this point there's only Biggles, Barricade and another Seeker, the team is quickly overwhelmed by them, only for Optimus to arrive and kill a bunch of Decepticons that have just materialized out of nowhere, with Mirage's team arriving as well to help drive them off.
Megatron's getting away! Let him go. We got what we came for.
Yeah, because removing your arch enemy couldn't possibly hold any advantage whatsoever.
You idiot! You're honestly an idiot! I don't know what's wrong with you!
Optimus says that Megatron might have found the Allspark, while Primal reveals he sent Airraiser to be captured, so she could get readings and track Soundwave, Megatron, Starscream and Dinobot. I mean, she certainly seemed taken by surprise when Laserbeak attacked her, almost like this plan doesn't make any sense whatsoever and they've just pulled an excuse to track down Megatron from their anuses. On to the next episode, and we see when the Allspark crashed on Earth. And in the present, Dinobot, Starscream and Black Arachnia struggle to navigate to the Allspark, as it creates illusions and shifts the ground around them. Optimus asks for a status update on the Ark repairs, before telling Bumblebee that if he fails, he must lead the Autobots.
I'm dying because I'm so surprised.
He and Primal talk, asking about why they fear him and trying to explain that he wanted to preserve Cybertron as it was before the war, something that became impossible once he and Megatron began fighting. In the forest, despite listening to the Golden Disc, Megatron still gets lost in the changing landscape, quickly taken by surprise when he has visions of Galvatron and dead Decepticons piling on him. The Matrix begins to glow, something Optimus can feel. As Starscream struggles to stay in the air, Dinobot questions why Megatron wears the Matrix like a trophy instead of being connected to it, with Starscream revealing that Optimus is the rightful wearer of the Matrix, Megatron just stole it. As Dinobot reflects on the situation, they spot the Autobots moving towards the Allspark. Optimus explains his connection to the Matrix, only for the forest to once again shift and all of the Cybertronians begin to suffer from hallucinations. Dinobot and Starscream get into a fight over Starscream's selfishness, ending with Dinobot being thrown over the edge. Finding Airraiser, Dinobot vows that none of the Megatrons must get the Allspark. As Megatron struggles to keep track of the Allspark, Soundwave informs him,
"Something is coming."
As Dinobot approaches, he begins fighting Soundwave, Ravage and Laserbeak, and right before Soundwave overwhelms him, the forest begins to glitch, giving Dinobot the chance to strike. He then begins to fight Megatron, a fight which would be over a lot quicker if he bothered to attack him when he made mistakes. Ooh, but Dinobot has honor, he would never do that. He also said the most important things were,
"If the Golden Disc leads Megatron to the Allspark, no one will be safe."
So for someone who wants to get the Golden Disc and the Allspark at all costs, he's doing a pretty shitty job at it. Dinobot, after shit-talking Megatron, manages to take him down, and then just stands there for 10 seconds not doing anything, allowing Biggles, the giant Tyrannosaurus with thunderous footsteps he would have heard coming from a mile away, to sneak attack him. Dinobot tells Biggles that he cannot save Megatron from becoming the monster from the future. As Megatron prepares to execute him, Dinobot manages to attack him and take the Matrix. As a wounded Dinobot struggles, he begs the Matrix for help, with the Matrix leading Optimus to the Matrix, which allows him to guide others to his location. Dinobot encourages Optimus and apologizes to Primal for not joining the Maximals when he had the chance. As Dinobot dies, the Matrix begins guiding Optimus to the Allspark. I mean, in isolation this death scene is good and all, but besides Airraiser, Dinobot has spent literally no screen time with any of these other characters. It relies completely on vague statements about their past and for you to have watched the Beast Wars cartoon in order to really appreciate this sacrifice and how it relates to the Maximals.
Here we go.
On to the next episode, and as Optimus races towards the Allspark, the Maximals and Autobots get into a debate about the Allspark.
So, what's the big obsession with this Allspark device?
What do you mean, what is the Allspark? It's literally been established several times to be the source of life on Cybertron, and it's not like you don't know this because Primal has a go at Optimus for removing it in the first place.
We don't exist without it.
We do.
Wow, that sounds like an interesting bit of world building, Rat Trap. Please explain more.
There ain't no Allspark in the...
That's enough!
Yep, about what I expected from this show. Offer a interesting bit of conversation only to throw it away for drama. RC points out they should care about getting the Allspark as it's even more powerful than the Golden Disc, and the group realise Primal isn't here, as he has gone after Optimus. As Starscream contemplates returning back to Megatron and begging for mercy, Black Arachnia says,
"You always waited for someone else to take Megatron off the board."
Starscream, why are you agreeing with this? A few days ago you literally blew up an entire space station by yourself to try and kill Megatron. Why are you agreeing with her that you've never tried to kill Megatron yourself? Writers, please, for the love of Primus, remember the things you've already written. As the two contemplate killing the Megatrons, Biggles is seen spying on them. Optimus tries to gain entry to the temple, but is blocked by the Allspark itself. Optimus and Megatron are visited by aspects of the Allspark, and Megatron uses the disc to take out Starscream, stealing his cloaking device. Despite being told several times they will grant access to whoever bears the Matrix, Optimus decides to keep fighting it for a while until he bothers to tell it who he is and that he has the Matrix. Probably should have just opened your chest immediately, but this Optimus is a fucking moron, so this is kind of on par really. Optimus realizes that it needs the help of the Cybertronians as much as the Cybertronians need it, with the Allspark stopping its attacks. Meanwhile, Primal finds the spirit of Dinobot on his way to the Allspark, being told he must help before it's too late. Black Arachnia finds Starscream waking up, explaining that Megatron now has his cloaking device. Megatron then attacks them before leaving, with Black Arachnia taking some of Megatron's spilt energon so they can access the disc when they steal it. Okay, so Megatron knocked Starscream out, took his cloaking device, and then just sat around and waited until Black Arachnia arrived so he could jump scare them and then leave them alive anyways. I think you have more pressing priorities than just sitting around with your dick in your hand. The Allspark isn't functioning properly because it's been through the dead universe. Somehow. I mean, I thought with space bridges you go in one end and come out the other. Not sure when it would have gone through the dead universe. And as we see later in the show, Teletran 1 is perfectly fine after analysing the data they got, while the Allspark, which has been here longer and has more time to process the data, is struggling to do the same. The godlike being is struggling more than the Autobot version of Alexa. Optimus asks Rhinox to send him the code that he used to wipe the dead universe data from Teletran 1, injecting it into the Allspark. We then get a slideshow montage for some reason, couldn't really tell you why this is happening, and then the temple doors open, with Optimus and an invisible Megatron entering. Megatron, who wants to kill Optimus and claim the Golden Disc, Matrix and Allspark all for himself, uncloaks himself, publicly announces he's there, and then just stands there not shooting Optimus.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you your moron.
As Primal, Starscream, Black Arachnia and Biggles confront each other outside, Optimus and Megatron start to chat shit to each other, and Megatron, who still wants Optimus dead, decides to shoot Optimus's gun and then fist fight him instead of just shooting him. The rest of the Autobots and Maximals arrive to shoot Biggles, with the spirit of Dinobot merging with Primal to allow him to enter the temple. As Primal fights Megatron, Optimus communicates with the Allspark, which tells him he has to stop fighting and surrender to Megatron in order to stop more people dying. He gives Megatron the Matrix, but Megatron suffers from hallucinations and is stopped. Optimus and Primal venture into the temple, where the Matrix is given back to him and all the Allsparks of the Autobots, Decepticons, Predacons and Maximals that have died reunite with the Allspark, destroying the temple, and Optimus is allowed to T-pose in the sky. Second to last episode, and Wheeljack, Rhinox and Ratchet bicker about how to get the Ark moving, almost crushing them when things go wrong. Optimus explains that the Allspark is dying and needs to return to Cybertron immediately. Megatron threatens to kill them all if he doesn't hand it over, but when told that the Allspark is dying and they need to act quickly, he yields. Black Arachnia is revealed to have stolen the disc, and after it's revealed that Starscream almost died in his fight with Megatron because Black Arachnia used him to get Megatron's blood, Starscream attacks her for using him as bait and steals the disc. Listening to it, Starscream discovers that Megatron will kill Optimus, but regrets doing so, wishing they had worked together. As he lays dying, Unicron appeared, enslaving him and transforming him into Galvatron.
Your secrets are mine, you piece of scrap!
You like movies about gladiators. You ever seen a grown man naked?
Starscream laughs at the irony of Megatron becoming a slave after spending his life fighting to stop being one, but is horrified when Unicron starts talking directly to him through the disc, terrifying him so much that he immediately goes to try and help form a ceasefire. Optimus begins rallying everyone to fix the Ark, while Bumblebee gets a message to meet Starscream, who tries to get Bumblebee to work together with him. Bit weird that Bumblebee received a message from one of the most treacherous Decepticons there is and decided to come and meet him alone, but alright. Starscream gives Bumblebee the golden disc, but he proceeds to snap it apart. Now, he tries to justify it by saying,
"The future's already here, Starscream. We have to face it head on."
But it's very obvious that the disc has knowledge about something so scary it humbled Starscream of all people. Probably something you should consider before snapping it to pieces. The Nemesis begins bombarding the Ark, and despite Optimus pleading to Megatron to stop, he refuses. Primal offers to distract it while the Ark gets away, but Black Arachnia says that if they get her on the ship, she can get the weapons disabled. The Maximals launch an attack, with Primal shit-talking Biggles. Black Arachnia shuts down the cannons, but the Megatrons defeat the Maximals. Megatron decides that he will fight the Ark himself, and neither he, nor Biggles, nor any of the other Decepticons or Predacons decide to kill the Maximals despite them being defenseless on the floor. As something begins happening to the Ark, Starscream arrives to stop Megatron, warning him and telling him about he will become Galvatron. This might be a nitpick of mine, shocking, I know, but did Galvatron ever introduce himself and what his name is? Because in Earthrise he just kind of beats Megatron up, teaches him how to use the power of the dead universe, and then warns him to find the golden disc. But we never really see him introduce himself. Would have been really funny if Starscream told him he will become Galvatron, and then Megatron just has no idea what he's talking about.
You are Galvatron.
Who?
Also, to Starscream's credit, he makes Megatron his bitch.
I can fly.
My nigga.
The Ark ends up transforming and disabling the Nemesis, with Teletran explaining that he saw the futures where he had been transformed, took the schematics and then diverted his resources to allow him to transform, with the Allspark giving him sentience and the ability to do so. The Decepticons are forced to surrender, Optimus takes everyone home, and Starscream has a mental breakdown because apparently he can still hear Unicron and he wants them to return to Cybertron. The final episode, and after jumping through the different space bridges, they somehow end up in the dead universe. And then they somehow end up on Cybertron. I'm gonna be completely honest here, I have no idea what's going on in these scenes, and I don't really care. After crashing, Optimus orders everyone to gather resources and look for survivors, while he will take the Allspark and put it in Cybertron to stop it dying. Which seems a bit weird. I mean, last time the Allspark was just chilling on the surface in some random canyon, but this time it needs to be placed somewhere specific to function properly. Bumblebee somehow teleports in front of Optimus and tells him he's gonna help him instead. Then, despite the fact they could have crash landed anywhere on the planet, they conveniently stumble on the corpse of Alita, allowing Optimus to get even angstier than he already is.
Took the Allspark. I provoked.
Bumblebee tells him to stop being a bitch and they get going. Galvatron frees Megatron and Optimus and Bumblebee find the Temple of the Allspark, although a massive crater is now blocking them.
Other than you, who has that kind of power?
I'm sorry, what? You're trying to tell me that despite getting bitched throughout every single fight he's appeared in, this Optimus can rip the metal ground of Cybertron in two? Fuck off. They then reveal that Nemesis Prime is here. Galvatron and Megatron have a nice little catch-up, with Galvatron needing the Allspark to destroy Unicron and free himself, even if it means Cybertron won't be restored.
A devourer of worlds who sees my every move.
He watches your every move, but then how can you be here then? Surely he would have been dragged back instantly. It's almost like the writers forgot what they fucking wrote so the final battle could happen. Apparently the past and future are merging at the present. I don't know, it's just nonsense writing trying to justify Galvatron and Nemesis being here. Bumblebee takes the Allspark to try and protect it while Optimus distracts Nemesis. At least I think that's what the plan is. What actually happens is Optimus just stands there doing nothing while Nemesis tracks Bumblebee down, and it's only after Nemesis finds him and starts to attack that Optimus bothers to do anything.
Could you be more worthless?
Galvatron and Megatron fight off the Autobots on the way to the Allspark, and Nemesis and Optimus continue to fight. Nemesis explains that he was also turned by Unicron, and demands Optimus hand over the Allspark. The Allspark he knows Optimus doesn't have because he detected it on Bumblebee and started to attack him for it. Jesus fucking Christ, it doesn't matter if he's a good guy or a bad guy, this version of Optimus is actually comically stupid.
You are without doubt the worst I've ever heard of.
But you have heard of me.
Galvatron and Megatron arrive, explaining that in their timeline they died in the dead universe and were taken by Unicron, and that they were the ones that just teleported the Ark onto Cybertron. But why? Optimus can open portals from the dead universe. That was the whole lesson Optimus learned from Skylinks. So why wouldn't he have been able to do it again to get home to Cybertron? Alright, sorry, the writers forgot. Primal arrives with all the other Cybertronians, united together to stand against them, with Starscream telling Megatron he has to make a choice. Megatron refuses to let Galvatron decide his fate, siding against him. Bumblebee, bringing the Allspark inside the temple, summons the sparks of dead Cybertronians to vanquish the duo back to their own timeline. The Allspark starts to restore the planet, with the Autobots and Decepticons going into their own territories. Starscream still hears Unicron, worried about his arrival, and somewhere in time and space, Unicron chastises Nemesis and Galvatron, torturing them for their treachery, although their use of time travel through the dead universe has given him ideas. And that is the end of Kingdom, the third and final part in the War for Cybertron trilogy. Fuck me sideways, what a trilogy. Obviously, I'll do a summary of this season first, and then a conclusion on the whole trilogy afterwards. First off, the positives. I do like the arcs Black Arachnia and Dinobot have, even if they could have been fleshed out a bit more. And if there's something I want to praise about them, it's that, unlike the Autobot and Decepticon characters, the Maximal and Predacon voice actors actually talk in regular sentences instead of talking slow with massive pauses in the middle, meaning you can actually listen to a normal conversation when they speak. I also think their designs look really good, even if Primal's gorilla form looks a bit plasticky. It's also nice to see Starscream be less static and go on his own arc. Usually he just makes snide comments, does one thing to backstab someone, and then goes back to being snarky. Here he's actually working towards his own goals, and when he realizes just how insignificant his goals are in the grand scheme of things, he wants to make amends and be stronger so they can survive. Also, I should have mentioned it in the previous two seasons, but the voice actor for him is really good as well, which is probably why his scenes with Dinobot and Black Arachnia are some of the best in this whole trilogy. I think the fight scenes are a bit better this time. There's less battles where people just awkwardly slug at each other and more dynamic fight scenes instead, whether it be big gun battles or the beast forms allowing more unique fights. The constantly twisting forest was a unique idea, a powerful artifact constantly shifting the environment around it to make people confused and forcing those that venture into it to suffer from severe hallucinations. Really good idea. I also like how they end the war. They agree to a truce and need to go to different sides of the planet, not fully forgiving or trusting each other, but knowing they can't keep fighting because there's a bigger threat that they need to prepare for. It's a very unique way to end the war. And now the negatives. The same problems that happened with the other two series are here as well. Maybe it's not as bad because things start to ramp up a bit, but they're still there. There's never any reason given why they keep ending up in the dead universe. I thought the whole point of the space bridges was to transport individuals between different space bridges, but for absolutely no reason whatsoever it keeps sending them into the dead universe. You'd think it would have been mentioned previously that sometimes people went through them and then randomly disappeared, but this isn't brought up at all. And on top of this, while this seems to be advanced machinery, it's never established that these are some legendary relics that people don't fully understand, like the Allspark or the Matrix or Alpha Trion's staff, especially as ordinary Cybertronians like Ratchet are able to repair them. Yet they have such legendary power they can just send people to alternate universes, seemingly by complete accident. On top of this, they really shouldn't have bothered explaining the origin story behind Galvatron and Nemesis. You're telling me they made an entire episode of Earthrise revolving around Optimus learning to master the Matrix and open portals out of the dead universe, only to have him and Megatron die because they got stuck in the dead universe and couldn't get out, even though they have the Matrix? The Maximals and most of the Predacons don't really have personalities, only having 2 or 3 characteristics that aren't really fleshed out. Primal hates Optimus and wants a better future. Tigatron loves Airazor. Airazor loves Tigatron. Predacon Megatron is a simp for the original Megatron and thinks things would have been better if Megatron won the war. Rhinox is a smart guy. Rat Trap is a snarky coward. Scorponok is there. Cheetor is also there. For the most part, the show is heavily relying on their depictions and relationships in Beast Wars to do the heavy lifting to get you to care about them. On top of this, once again we get to see a load of different characters not transform on screen whatsoever, despite them apparently being toy accurate figures, and you'll notice this happens quite often with Rat Trap, Rhinox and Black Arachnia, having the sound effect play off screen and then they're just transformed. There's also just a lot of stuff that doesn't make sense in regards to them either. How can a dead world with no life source or energon be able to create brand new life? I understand if it's a steady evolution over time, which is what happened in the original Beast Wars, but no, apparently they just appeared out of literally nothing. And on top of that, they somehow survive and they have societies, even though they're constantly being terrorized by Unicron, Galvatron and Nemesis. There's a lot of times when characters will just leave their enemies alive so they can keep the plot going. Characters will just show up out of nowhere to keep the plot going, and stuff just doesn't make sense will happen to keep the plot going. Megatron gets a disc that will tell him everything that's going to happen, and he tells his Decepticons exactly what to do, but they still somehow get defeated anyways. Surely he would have told his Decepticons that Mirage was cloaked, but no, apparently he doesn't, and then Astro Train and Scorponok lose. So yeah, that's Kingdom, a show that hopes you focus entirely on nostalgia so you don't pay attention to the fact they're desperately trying to finish this trilogy and move on at any cost, with a hollow, very obvious payoff waiting for you at the end. Now, the trilogy as a whole, if this was written and created a few years later, I would have said the main story was written by AI, randomly jumping from plot point to plot point. Most of the characters are shallow and just stand in the background to fill up space. They'll either be the best shot in the galaxy or the dumbest idiot of all time whenever the plot needs them to win or fail. The voice acting and dialogue for the most part sounds like they were doing test takes instead of actually trying. Most of the fight scenes are so unexciting and raise blood pressure so little, not even the fainting goats would be affected by it. We have a series where a lot of Transformers don't even transform or even have animations to do so. I can't tell you any of the musical score, and overall it's had so little impact that I see basically no one talking about it since it's been released. Now, if you're the type of person who goes around sniffing car exhaust fumes to forget about their worries in life, then you might be in the right mental capacity to enjoy this trilogy. If not, go watch literally any other piece of Transformers media and you'll have a much better time. Thanks for watching, lads and lasses. If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking, subscribing and checking out some of my other videos. Sharing always helps, and if you're feeling really generous, please consider my Patreon or YouTube membership. I also have a Twitter and occasionally I do live streams. But most of all, I just hope you had a great day and hopefully I will see you in the next video.